welcome to Reopen the Gate, the Guiders Against Trans Exclusion official podcast. We are your hosts, Lo, they, she.
And L, she, her.
This week, we're going to be talking a bit about how to become an upstander and the different ways you can be taking action towards making the world a better and more inclusive place for all. So, L, what is the difference between being a bystander versus an upstander?
So, being a bystander means you are someone who witnesses any form of injustice or an incident and choose not to get involved. This can take form in different ways, whether it's not correcting a friend for saying a cruel, stereotypical joke, or walking past someone in the street being harassed. But either way, being a bystander can be just as bad as being the perpetrator of the malicious action itself. Becoming an upstander means that you can use your voice, your position to help correct those types of injustices and support victims so that those who are actually committing the acts feel that they can no longer get away with it or that it's no longer accepted. So, Lo, what can people do if they want to become a better upstander?
The real answer? Kind of anything. Activism takes so many different shapes, and it's a lot easier to be involved than most people would think. It's not all just writing letters. One of our favorite forms of activism here at Gate is turning our hobbies and everyday activities, stuff that we'd be already be doing, into signs of protests. Things like turning crafts into statement pieces, choosing to wear different colors or pins in solidarity, even just reading books about real lived experiences to inform yourself better can be just as powerful as showing up at a protest. So, what kind of things have Gate actually been working on?
Well, we've actually done quite a lot in the last month and a half since Gate was born. Not only have we had 6 in-person protests across the UK with some absolutely amazing turnouts, but we've also had our first all-members call to help encourage transparency between the leadership team and make sure that we're continuing to make member-led decisions going forward. And of course, we can't protect about the wonderful, amazing badges that we've been making and sending out. So hopefully they should all start being received in the next week or so after this podcast has been out. We've also been working and collaborating with a bunch of other trans inclusive organisations who are fighting similar battles to us, and we're hoping we're going to be able to share more about exactly what we've been doing with them shortly.
Definitely, there's been a lot behind the scenes of Gate recently, and our latest project has been our fancy new campaign pack called 100 for 100. We mentioned it a couple times before in the last podcast episode, but if you missed it, it's a challenge pack based on turning small everyday actions into large collective movements by members not just across the UK, but worldwide. There's 100 different challenges, if you couldn't tell by the title, split
Yeah.
up between 3 pillars of action: speak up, show up, and be heard. The idea is to reach 100 submissions collectively of each one. Some of them are really easy, like just taking a picture of your promise badge turned upside down, or telling us about different trans icons that inspire you. Whereas some are a little bit more challenging, like finding gate geocaches, creating pieces of art in solidarity, but every single action counts, and every single person has the ability to get involved.
So, to help inspire you to start getting involved with our challenge pack, we're going to go through the full campaign pack, which you can download for free on our website, and we're going to show you what our awesome members have been doing so far. So, our first action pillar is Speak Up, and Speak Up focuses on communication and applying direct pressure towards policy changes. A lot of our members have been emailing their MPs and representatives, if you do this, please make sure that if you get a response, you forward it to us at our email address so that we can keep track of all the MPs that have been contacted and all of their responses, whether they're positive, neutral, or negative, and then we can keep in line with what everybody else has been saying. Also for Speak Up, we've had many submissions of different translations of Trans Girls Belong and Girlguiding, recommendations for trans inclusive books, including a lovely partnership with a couple of queer libraries who have given us a list of recommended books, and as a couple of people who have reflected on what the Gay Promise means to them.
Yeah, they've been busy. And for our show up theme, the second pillar, we're focused on collective action and displays of solidarity. So this is kind of where the hobby-based craftivism challenges are. For example, we have a goal to make 2 big blankets, one of crochet squares and one of quilted squares, of 100 squares each. And our members have been super quick to get all their supplies out. There's been some really creative designs so far.
Yeah,
We've
they're
also
really
loved
beautiful.
seeing people hiding all the geocaches around, coloring in our mascots. You can download the coloring sheets from our website too, and of course, wearing our promise badges upside down in solidarity. Finally, our Be Heard theme makes sure that all of the testimonies are captured and amplified. This is where the real impact of the other challenges can be seen and raised even higher. For example, many of our members have been sending back their uniform and badges to Girlguiding HQ to represent our lack of trust and fear in the organisation and its direction. We've also been sent some amazing poems from young members, and this challenge allows for you to follow up your emails to your representatives to ensure that the actions they said they would take have actually been done.
So, if you do choose to get involved with our lovely campaign pack or do any of these challenges, please make sure to head to our website at www.guidersagainsttransexclusion.co.uk and check out our 100 for 100 submission page to upload evidence of your efforts, tell us what challenges you've been up to. This also helps us keep track of how close we are to completing 100 of each challenge. And on the individual pillar pages that we have set out, you can go and look and see where the progress bars are to see how many more we need for that specific challenge. On those pillar pages, you can also find more ideas, clarification, and inspiration about what each challenge actually entails and different ideas of how you can make it more to your own.
So, as we say in every single episode, each time we release a new podcast, we have a call to action, usually themed around whatever Action Gate is focusing on and how you can get involved. If you can't already tell, this week's call to action is how to become a bystander to an upstander by visiting our website, getting involved in our 100 for 100 challenge, and having a look into our volunteer handbook, which we'll talk about soon. Remember, each small action helps build towards a large collective action that can really help make a difference. So whether you're turning your promise badge upside down or crocheting us towards victory, make sure that you're doing something is way better than doing nothing.
Yeah, also make sure to get all of your friends, your fellow leaders, etc., all involved. And if you fancy even getting your unit involved too, we have loads and loads of resources, both on our website, but also with our nice new fancy volunteer handbook, Unlocking the Gate, which helps introduce these topics seamlessly within the current Girl Guiding program. The handbook has all sorts of things to make running these sessions a little easier, from glossaries to double check that you are fully informed and ready for any questions, explanations of exact policy changes, and even pre-made activities and printables that work for all age ranges.
Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to this episode of Reopen the Gate. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe and stay updated for the following episodes.
Yeah, our next podcast will actually be that whodunit type episode that we promised in the prior podcast. We just need a little bit longer to perfect it and to make it just as amazing as we were hoping it would be. So please make sure to follow us and tune in for that episode when it comes out. But for now,
Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
bye!